Hi guys, today I'm going to talk to you about situational openers. What is a situational opener? Well, have you ever had that feeling where you go out and you want to talk to a girl and you think, well, what shall I say? What am I going to say to her? And all that comes into your mind is to go up and say, I just wanted to talk to you. You look really nice. Or the second thing that people will do is ask a question. Say something like, do you know the way to get to Starbucks from here? Each of these doesn't quite feel authentic. The direct approach, let's say, of just going up and saying, you look really nice, I really wanted to talk to you, can sometimes just feel uncreative, unspontaneous. It's sort of giving all your cards away at the start, putting yourself maybe in a bit of a chasing frame, and it's a very basic thing that you could have said to anyone else. Whereas the indirect frame always poses the problem of, okay, I don't actually care where the cafe is. Really, I think she looks nice, and now I have to somehow transition this conversation from talking about a Starbucks to flirting with her or having a conversation where I demonstrate that I'm attracted to her and that we can actually connect. So I am on a constant mission to decategorize everything, right? All of these language that's used in this industry, let's say, day game, night game, two sets, direct, indirect, all of this stuff, bad boy, nice guy, all of this stuff, it's not worth categorizing it. It's much easier when we remove these categories. So in the same way, what I would do is blend this idea of direct and indirect and think about situational openers. So in this video, I'm going to teach you what is a situational opener and how you can use it to your advantage, how you can make each approach feel natural, feel spontaneous, and actually most effective. So what is a situational opener? Well, it's using the context of your environment and the individual within it to inform what you're going to say. So instead of just going up to every girl and saying, hey, I thought you looked beautiful and I wanted to meet you. Hey, you've got a really cool vibe and I wanted to meet you. Or, hey, do you know how to get to Selfridges? Do you know how to get to Starbucks? You instead use your context. So think about things like the following. Where are you? What is the weather like? What is she wearing? What does she look like her mood is? Things like this are going to inform what you're going to do. So let's think of some examples and then I can actually break down what it actually means. So let's say you are in the gym and you see a girl you like and you want to talk to her, but you know it feels a bit weird to go and say you look beautiful if she's, squatting or busy doing something else. And you obviously don't want to just say, oh, do you know where the 10-kilogram dumbbell is? She obviously doesn't, and it's just a bit unusual. It's a bit weird. So you want to do a situational opener. So what might be a situational opener that you could use? Well, let's say she's a girl and she's doing yoga in the corner. She's on one of the mats and she's doing some yoga. You might come up and say, excuse me, you've created your own routine here, haven't you? Right? So what you're saying is that you've noticed out of the corner of your eye that she's doing yoga and it seems like she's improvising or she's doing some new exercises, right? You know something about the topic. And you're saying like, oh, it doesn't look like a normal routine. It looks like she's improvised. So now you're curious to know whether she's modified like some other routine or made up her own exercises or, she looks kind of interested and engaged in this. And so maybe she knows something about it. So you could be like, you've made up your own routine, haven't you? Right? And then she could say, actually, yeah, I did. Yeah, I modified like one I found online. Or she could say, no, I just use the same person on YouTube. Right, and by doing this, you've got to weigh into that conversation, right? What you've done with regards to yoga. Do you do any stretching? Do you do any exercise? What do you do, right? Maybe you can develop that conversation along the line of like, wow, this is a really creative girl. She's improvising her exercises. She's seen something online. She's done something different. It's a kind of cool, intelligent, spontaneous way into that conversation. Where else could you be? Let's say you're at an art gallery and you're looking at the paintings, right? And a lot of guys just see a girl looking at a painting, they're like, well, I don't know what to say. She's busy. She's looking at a painting. Well, also they'll come up and say, hey, I just saw you looking at this painting and I think you look really beautiful. Instead, what you could do is you could come up, again, use the context, use that situation to inform what you're going to say. Let's say she's looking at a painting and there's a guy in the painting with blonde hair, in my case. I might go and stand next to her and say, I had to pose for 6 hours. But I think the artist caught my likeness quite well, right? So you make a comment as if you're the model in the painting, right? And she's going to look at you and think, you're not the model. Ah, it's a joke, right? It's a funny, fun, spontaneous way into that conversation. Well, what else could you say? In the National Gallery, there's a painting of a giant horse, a huge painting of a horse. And no one really notices that the horse looks really sad. The horse looks terrified, in fact, in its face. So you see a girl standing there looking at that painting, you might come up and say, is it me or does this horse look completely terrified, right? Then she's going to look at the painting, look at the horse's face, and relate to what you've said and say, oh yeah, I hadn't noticed that. Or yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, right? Now you've got a really natural, spontaneous entrance to that conversation, right? So women often will project into their future, right? They'll think, okay, if the way in which she met you was not fun or cool or sort of sexy or romantic, it puts a kind of sour note over the interaction, right? Let's say you met in a weird place or in a weird context on a dating app at speed dating. It doesn't have a very nice frame around it. What you're doing here is you're giving her a nice story to look to the future. It was nice how we met. It was a romantic way. It sort of puts you in your own romantic movie, and that was the way that the two protagonists met. She would be excited to go and tell her friends how she met you, excited to tell her family. No guilt or shame about, the 5th date she had that week on Tinder and this one was good enough. You've made a situation that's actually exciting and actually she can feel confident telling her friends, family, and everyone she knows how she met you. So, look, there's many examples of situational openers. Let's think of another one. So what have we done? We've done art gallery, we've done gym. What if you're in a supermarket? So if you're in a supermarket and she's looking at the fruit and veg section, pick up an avocado, throw it up, catch it. How do you know when these things are ripe, right? Easy, quick, spontaneous way of getting into conversation. Then you can have a conversation about that. Well, they're only ripe for one day, right? Before they're either too hard or they're too soft. That's an easy way into conversation. It's not putting all this pressure on her to standing facing her, forcing her into a conversation. It's just a casual aside comment. But from there, she's going to be like, I think they have to be a certain firmness, like feel them, and it's kind of funny. It's maybe a little bit of an innuendo about squeezing an avocado. There's so much room from that sort of an opener for you to actually connect with her and for you to have a sort of spontaneous conversation, especially in these environments where you're not expected to hang around long. In a gym, in a supermarket, in an art gallery, you could just be like, this was kind of interesting. Do you use WhatsApp? Right? You can even have a 2-3 minute conversation in those environments where it's appropriate, if you like her and she's interested in you, to close after 2 or 3 minutes. You don't have to long it out for 20 minutes and try and build loads of rapport and connection. This is about you living a lifestyle where you can spontaneously go out and make conversations with individuals, create opportunities out of your everyday life. So guys, it's very easy to hear this information and to think, oh, okay, that makes sense. But a lot of the time we don't actually absorb it and we're not actually able to use it until we've thought deeply about it and written it down. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do now is to share 3 examples of situational openers that you think would work or that you've used in the past, so we can share this with everyone. You guys can pool all your ideas and always have something to say in these situations. And in return, what I'm offering you guys is a free exclusive video where I give you the 3 best situational openers to use that I haven't talked about in this video. And you'll find them by following the link in the description to my Facebook group, joining the group, and I'll send you that straight away. And as a personal favor to me, guys, I mean, look, I'm doing this channel for free. I don't monetize any of these videos. You guys don't see ads. I basically just want all of you to be successful. And so, like, man to man, as we're a community, we're all helping each other. What I want to ask is that if you haven't already subscribed to this video, please do so. If you don't like the videos, please do so, because I want to push this message as far as possible and get as many guys involved in this movement as possible. So please do subscribe and like the video, as well as sharing your free comments. And let's go, guys. Let's take this channel upwards.